Yeah, yeah, I'm a big, dirty, hairy, naked, sweaty melon. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, aka the best teeth in the game, here for another edition of Let's Argue, where I hop onto social media and I welcome your unpopular opinions, hot takes, and tough questions. I answer the best of them in segments like these. Let's go. Cover art can easily influence how people feel about an album. A great album with great art is generally better received than a great album with meh art. I kind of feel like the beauty of album art is sort of in the eye of the beholder, or whether or not that art conveys what it's supposed to. Some pieces of album art are so weird and abstract that what exactly makes them significant doesn't really come to pass in your mind until you've actually heard the music on the record. Then it all kind of makes sense. I mean, personally, I'm partial to art that kind of gives you an idea or gives you a hint of what exactly you're going to be getting into, like this Cramps live album. You look at the cover, you see the band playing live, you see a cool logo, you see a fun picture, and it makes you think you're going to listen to a really crazy, wild live rock album, which in fact this is. There are obviously other ways of going about album art too. I mean, there's also this reissue of Sleep's Dope Smoker, which, I mean, for how epic and explorative the album is, this giant mural of weird figures kind of traveling through the desert certainly seems to convey that. So I guess what's good about a piece of great album art, in my opinion, is does it inform you of the experience, or in some way does it enhance the experience? And I guess I'll leave it at that. Ghostface is often unfairly left out of GOAT conversations because he was in a group. He has 3 solo classics in Iron Man, Supreme Clientele, Fish Scale, as well as a lot of great collaborations, so on and so forth. I mean, I absolutely agree. Ghostface Killah is fucking amazing. Maybe the most consistent and prolific member of the Wu-Tang Clan when it comes to solo stuff. The dude has a killer discography. I mean, even his lowest points aren't really that bad. I feel like in this latest act of his career, he's been having a kind of hard time, finding that next great album that he might have in him. But still, he's incredibly talented, incredibly consistent, a very thoughtful hip-hop artist. And super charismatic too, with a one-of-a-kind voice and sound. So hell yes, to Ghostface Killah. There needs to be more Ghostface Killah praise in general. Gorillaz' lore and visuals deserve much better music to go with them. Well, as of right now, at this very point in time, yes, I would have to agree. Although I can't imagine Hewlett would be spending so much time animating characters to music that he doesn't enjoy. Although I guess it's a paycheck at the end of the day, and it's hard for some illustrators and animators to get paid out there. It's hard. How can you rate Dark Side of the Moon as overrated? An album that redefined music and how concept albums should be made. It's not even their best and most ambitious concept album. Look, saying this is like saying, hey, how can you hate American cheese? American cheese was like super influential to cheese and sandwiches and so on and so forth. It doesn't mean it's the best cheese. It just means it's a popular cheese. I don't even know I'm fucking talking about cheese. I'm vegan. Okay, you got me on some bullshit over this question. Jesus! Cupcake deserves more recognition for how much hard work she puts into her songs and music videos. She's extremely underrated and painted out as a meme because of her overtly sexual songs when she does much more. More respect for Cupcake. I agree, Cupcake is great. I mean, she can drop some really lyrical tracks when she wants to. She has a really distinct voice, really distinct personality. I think sometimes she tends to write a lot of songs about the very exact same topics, and occasionally she hops on production that's kind of generic and doesn't really fit her very vibrant and very unique personality, but she seems to be changing all of that as of late, and I'm pretty excited to see her continue to grow as an artist. I think Cupcake, for all the people who have been snoozing out there, I think she has a project in her that can kind of turn a lot of those sleepers into believers. So I'm Team Cupcake as of right now.
Heavy metal is the modern-day extension of classical era music. They use very similar elements, and the way that they use instruments as the main voice of the music rather than singing sounds very much like classical music.
I mean, maybe, sorta, kinda. I think it very much depends on the artist and the band that you're listening to. Like, personally, do I see I Hate God or High on Fire or, I don't know, fucking Napalm Death as being extensions of classical music? And then, no, not necessarily. However, there certainly are tons of heavy metal bands and even black metal bands too that use elements of classical music and classical music melody, romantic era melody in their stuff, even gothic melodies in their works. So there's obviously a classical connection there. No denying that. But honestly, like there's still a scene for classical music out there. I would very much argue that classical music is still the the modern day classical music. There are a lot of very virtuous metal musicians out there whose composition skills do go toe to toe with some classical compositions out there, and respect to them. Liquid Swords is in a very similar, if not the same quality bracket as Enter the 36 Chambers. I mean, I guess it is. It's a great record. It's, I guess, a 10 out of 10, and I would call 36 Chambers a 10 out of 10. But I don't really think both of them are all that comparable. Of course, you have GZA. Of course, you have that great RZA production. But on Liquid Swords, you don't have the same variety of personalities and stories and perspectives that you do on 36 Chambers. Again, they're not stylistically in completely different realms or anything like that. But I don't necessarily see why there needs to be kind of like a dick measuring contest between the both of them. I don't really hear too many people saying that one record is necessarily inferior to the other anyway. Usually fans of one enjoy the other too. So what's going on? Hot take. All music is just vibrations in the air, so don't come at me with that To Pimp a Butterfly is a 10, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is only a 6. Whoa, dude, that's totally true. Since all music is just wiggly fucking air, that means that no wiggly air is better than any other wiggly air. Like, I mean, water's just liquid, right? And so's piss. Don't tell me one is better to drink than the other. Smash Mouth never really made bad music, they just got entrapped in an unfortunate meme that led people to no longer take them seriously. No. Smash Mouth did in fact start making bad music as they released records like past the late 90s. They grew more and more irrelevant because their sound and the way that they wrote in on kind of dissipated, and that's why people don't really care about Smash Mouth much anymore. In fact, I would actually argue that because of the meme, people actually care more now about Smash Mouth than a lot of their contemporaries who you probably don't even fucking remember. Who gives a shit about Sugar Ray? Literally. Who gives a shit about them? No one. Literally no one. And maybe if there was a Sugar Ray meme out there, someone would care, but there's not, so no one does. And that's nothing against Mark McGrath. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. Toad is the best Mario character. It's Yoshi, bitch. Who will cut our hair when we're gone as a 10 and you know it? Yes, I fucking know it. Who says I don't know it? I'm not hiding that. What do you want to know next? Water is wet? You want me to tell you water's wet? Panic at the Disco's debut album is the peak of pop punk and gets unfairly shit on because of annoying fans. I mean, granted, probably a lot of people hate Panic because of how annoying their fan base is viewed to be, but peak of pop punk? That's not Dookie. That's not fucking Black Parade. Like, and even those aren't even probably the best of the best of the best pop punk albums. Like, that is such like maybe a B tier on a nice day pop punk album on a very nice bright sunny day. Lab grown meat is vegan. I mean, maybe in some kind of ethical thought experiment it absolutely is, but I ain't fucking eating it. I love him, but Bareface is the least sonically diverse member of Brockhampton. If he were to diversify his singing style a bit more, he'd be making a bigger contribution to the band as a whole. I'm hoping he does that a lot on the new album. I mean, I don't know, I thought his efforts on 1999 Wildfire sounded a little different than his usual very pillowy, soft, melodic voice. So I think he's trying. I think he's trying to fill in the gaps, trying to contribute more. He's trying. Dude's putting in some effort. The effort's showing. And I think we're going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching. This has been another edition of Let's Argue. You're the best. And I love you. And I don't know what else I want to say other than check out the video next to my head or the playlist of our other Let's Argue videos. And check out these fucking guns! Yeah! And subscribe. Forever.